I have before us today SB 172. You all have read your analyses, you have your ideas, many of you already programmed in your brain, but I want to ask you simply, block that out right now and understand what this bill is. It's a name change. There's no substance, it's a name change. There's some concern it might be a spot bill, I assure you. I will bring it back to you, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, and we will go over anything that changes, because that is not the intent of this bill to be a spot bill or anything substantive. It's a name change. In this legislature, we pass many bills. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we get it wrong. When we do things unintended, we often come back and clean them up. That's what I'm trying to do with this. Schools on the list of 1,000 are currently deemed low achieving according to a specific formula prescribed by law. Earlier this year, the governor vetoed AB 47, which attempted to dramatically alter the formula for the open enrollment list. The veto underscores how challenging it has been to come up with an alternative method for the school list that satisfies all stakeholders. SB 172 is an attempt to at least achieve some of the less controversial changes in order to help school districts. The chief concern from school districts we have heard is being publicly labeled low achieving when they've actually made progress, despite relatively higher test scores. So SB 172 would replace this label of low achieving with a far more benign but more positive open enrollment label. Open enrollment is never meant to be punitive or to have a stigma. School choice for parents and kids, not subjective labels, is the underlying purpose of the Open Enrollment Act. Some school districts like school choice, some don't. Of course, I like choice, you know that. Nobody likes to be labeled substandard. In fact, the State Board of Education deemed this an appropriate policy prescription when crafting regulations for the law. For the very reason I'm here today, the board decided that state regulations should say open enrollment schools and not low achieving. The bill aligns state law with those regulations. This bill does. Unfortunately, because there is still a state law, many school districts worry about being identified as low achieving. We hear that all the time. So again, simply trying to change it from something with a stigma to something that's positive. In 2003, the legislature changed the, quote, low-performing school, end quote, block grant to the high-priority school block grant. Same kind of a principle. No substantive change, it's how you label it. This bill is the same thing with open enrollment. So I would ask for your support for this very, very, very simple bill.